The Five Eyes is an Anglosphere intelligent alliance comprising Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and the United States. These countries are party to the multilateral UK-USA agreement, a treaty for joint cooperation in signals intelligence. Informally, Five Eyes can refer to the group of intelligence agencies of these countries. The term Five Eyes originated as shorthand for Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, United Kingdom, United States eyes only. Releasability caveat. The Computer Corps organization started with 4 volunteers since 1997. Since 1997, more than 7,000 volunteers have donated more than 600,000 hours to helping others obtain and learn about computers. The Computer Corps organization is organized exclusively for charitable, environmental, and educational purposes. The concept of the offense of the cross, when you look at the Windows logo, the 4 square is a cross. Windows 95, 98, ME 2000, XP, Vista 8, 10, 11. The offense of the cross is rooted in New Testament and refers to the inherent challenge and stumbling block that the message of crucifixion of Jesus Christ, while my mother, Susan Dunn, is wearing a Crossman shirt with the letter C emphasized. Crucifixion and felony Class C charge from District Attorney Stephen B. Rye presents to both Jews and Gentiles. This offense is not merely a cultural or historical misunderstanding, but is deeply theological, touching on the core of Christian doctrine and the human condition. The phrase, "the eyes are the windows to the soul," suggests that one can understand a person's emotions and thoughts by looking into their eyes. It emphasizes how expressive the eyes can be in conveying feelings. The origin of this phrase can be traced back to the French poet I cannot pronounce that. That's William, basically, de Sallust de Bartas, who referred to the eyes as windows of the soul. Windows Vista is a major release of Microsoft's Windows NT operating system. It was released to manufacturing on November 8th, 2006, and became generally available on January 30th, 2007 on the Windows Marketplace, the first release of Windows to be made available through a digital distribution platform. Vista succeeded Windows XP 2001. At the time, the 5-year gap between the two was the longest time span between successive Windows releases. The Marriott World Trade Center was a 22-story, 825-room hotel at 3 World Trade Center, and this is the arrest that Stephen B. Rye wants to go for on me at the 3rd District Court in Yerington, I guess maybe along with Judge John Paul II, the Honorable Judge John Paul Schlegelmilch, after Camille Beccarelli recused the case, to Judge Lorianne Matthias, that has the same middle name as Julianne Bice across the street, that filed a restraining order on me, and Kel Brock wants to refer me to a Dr. Susan Loring, while my mother's name is Susan Loring Dunn, and I know, Crystal, Susan is a common name. Or there's still more bias going on here, that Camille Beccarelli, Judge, the Honorable, recused out of bias. Just debate that's getting, how many other people are just getting treated like this in Lyon County? Pope Leo from America, the 14th, from Chicago. Leo means lion, as in Lyon County. Look into the etymologies. The World Trade Center complex in Manhattan, New York City, it opened in April 1981 as the Vista International Hotel and was the first major hotel to open in Lower Manhattan, south of Canal Street, Canal Court, in Fernley, Nevada. Judge Lorianne Matthias didn't recuse out of bias, just tossed me to arraignment, and so they might have a new case on me. If they can't get me on one case, then they'll get me on the other. So they're putting 2 cases. This is one of the court, Dayton Justice Court. They couldn't give me information. They told me I had to call Fernley Court, so I called the district attorney. They told me public defender. I don't know the process. And Crystal's going to be doing some research and will be sending me some information in the morning from Kel, Brocklaw, and Reno. And look at these, just this name trend going on here. It's like the courts got hijacked by the masterminds of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. And the 3rd District Court in Yerington's on 9/11. Harvey, 911. September 11th, 911, 9/11. As the Vista International Hotel and was the first major hotel to open in Lower Manhattan south of Canal Street, Canal Court, Fernley, Nevada. Canal Street since 1836. The Vatican Assassins book by Eric John Phelps there. John Schlegelmilch is 1836 pages. It was also, this is not tangential, by the way. It was also unofficially known as the World Trade Center 3, WTC 3, and the World Trade Center Hotel, officially the Vista Hotel, Windows Vista, remoting into computers. And the Marriott Hotel throughout its history, hijacking information, altering the information when it's being sent. And God, who fucking wants that? Dude, who wants out of this mess as painless as possible? And not, dude, it doesn't matter if you, dude, the people across the street could repent tonight. I don't care. That's great. Dude, I don't want this shit returned on anyone. I mean, no way. No way. Go to Disneyland or something there. You got Mickey Mouse decorations. Go to Disneyland. Enough's been said. No one's going to hopefully do this crap anymore. Anonymous internet, which, by the way, John, this is terrible, but John, a toilet is called a John, nicknamed John. And the word anonymity is associated with the word John, and so is prostitution. Eric John Phelps, John, Jean, and Jean is female for John. So it's a Sion and Sean. Peoria Sion. All mean the same. St. John the Baptist. A friend of mine got hold of the beta test CD of Windows 95, set up a packet sniffer between this serial port and modem. When you try the free demo time on the Microsoft network, it transmits your entire directory structure and background. This means that they have a list of every directory and potentially every file on your machine. This is Berkeley Technology Law Journal. So an article from 1995 or early 1996. The Vatican has founded the Pope John Paul II Schlegelmilch Center. Judge John Schlegelmilch, 9/11 Harvey. 3rd District Court, Yerington, Nevada. For prayer, John Paul II, Judge John Paul Schlegelmilch. For prayer and study for peace at 1711 Ocean Avenue, Spring Lake, New Jersey, in a mansion overlooking the ocean. The mansion was given to the New York Archdiocese by the estate of Elmer Boss, who died in 1978. He was a multimillionaire and chairman of Warner Lambert Company. Richard Nixon was a frequent visitor. Directors of the center were Kurt Waldheim, former Secretary General of the United States, and ex-Nazi war criminal Cyrus Vance, J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States, Cyrus Vance, J.D. Vance. Former Secretary of State under Carter, a member of both the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission, Claire Booth Luce, a dame of the Knights of Malta, Dame Sarah Mullally, the Archbishop of the Church of England or the Anglican Church, the Knights of Malta, and J. Peter Grace of W.R. Grace Company, who is the heads of the Knights of Malta in the United States. Pope Leo XIV, the American Pope's going to be retiring by 2028 for Cardinal Louis Sacco to be elected Pope at the Vatican. For karma, for Desert Storm and the Iraqi War on Terror. Karma is a dishonest practice. Yeah, Arturo Sosa is going to be retiring by 2027 as the Superior General of the Society of Jesus, and is going to be replaced by Jeffrey Burrell, Toronto, Canada. Before Kamala Harris and Warnock are elected President, Vice President in 2028 to be inaugurated. January 20th, 2029. Anyway, the center was set up by the Vatican as part of the Pope's new peace plan, which will bring the world together. See my paper, The Secret Government. The center has two roles: educate Catholics and their children to accept The New World Order at the juvenile courts. Right, Kell Brock? This guy, Kell Brock, he's got a deadly sense of humor. He doesn't have to be that way. He's got a hidden talent when he's not working in the background on people dishonestly. He made me laugh December 16th. It made it like I was going to get arrested. And had me sign some paper. I was getting tossed to arraignment. They didn't even show me the new charges. They want me evaluated before I see this new case. I'm being told by the district attorney that they're doing a second case after Judge Camille Vecchiarelli recused to Judge Lori Ann Matthews, read the book of Matthew. And good God, a bunch of lawyers are just not wanting to pick up this case. And I'm not playing musical lawyers. Judge John Schlegelmilch accused me of playing musical lawyers, attorneys. I do listen to a lot of music. KZAP. I took a break for a few days, been listening to Global Star Radio, First Amendment Radio.net, Nicholas Arthur Persecutes, Nicholas Arthur Hoffman of Porterville. Provide residence for the World Peace Solution computer and an ongoing study for peaceful solutions to any future problems which endanger the world peace. The computer is hooked to the world capitals via satellite. All nations have agreed to relinquish sovereignty to the Pope and submit future problems to the computer for solution. Of course, this will not go into effect until the New World Order is publicly announced. I believe that the New World Order was born in secrecy on January 19th, 1989, 40 years. 40 years to the day, just about within one day, 2029, Kamala Harris and Raphael Warnock, who has the same name as Louis Raphael Sacco, who will be Pope at the Vatican at that time. Judge John Schlegelmilch knows something about birth certificates. Cardinal Louis Sacco, Raphael Sacco, might be the devil went down to Georgia, Charlie Daniels. Cardinal Louis Raphael Sacco might be Raphael Warnock's father. Some things are being falsified. These birth certificates. Compare his teachings with the tenets of the Illuminati and then compare it with the following. The Vatican has stated at various times that the Pope is for total disarmament. The Pope is for elimination of the sovereignty of the nation states. The Pope is also stating, this is John Paul II, that property rights are not to be considered true property rights. The Pope believes that only the Vatican knows what is right for man. In the early 1940s, the IG Farben Chemical Company employed a Polish salesman who sold cyanide to the Nazis for use in Auschwitz. The same salesman also worked as a chemist in the manufacture of the poison gas. This same cyanide gas, along with Zyklon B and malathion, was used to exterminate millions of Jews and other groups. Their bodies were then burned to ashes. This is what they want for me, John Schlegelmilch, Kell Brock, Stephen B. Rye. They want me slashed to death at jail and prison, deemed crazy. Just like what happened to Troy Driver. I am now Troy Driver. I don't do that shit. Fucking framing people. No fucking way. And cremated just like my father. They want me executed in jail or prison at Lovelock or the county jail, Lyon County. Troy Driver did not hang himself. He was probably murdered by a trustee and maybe a sheriff deputy that overlooked the other way, while maybe a trustee and another inmate strangled him. Was he cremated? So these judges, I hope to God, Camille Vecchiarelli, they leave Camille Vecchiarelli alone, that they recuse out of bias, just leave him alone. By the way, Timothy McVeigh was a Catholic. He was raised a Catholic. Might have been a Jesuit. Look what he did to the Federal Murrah building. It's across the street from the Scottish Rite in Oklahoma City. And there's a park nearby named Sosa, south of St. Anthony. Arturo Sosa is going to be retiring between this year and next year, to 2028 at the latest. They want me in jail for at least that long, rest of my life, something. They want me terrible because of what I'm really reading here. I was messaging Dayton Justice Courts before Julianne Bice filed a restraining order. And before Julianne Bice filed a restraining order, Susan held up their phone to me, showing me that Jean was threatening to have my stuff taken away. Their bodies were then burned to ashes in the ovens. After the war, the salesman, fearing for his life, joined the Catholic Church and was ordained a priest. In 1946, one of his closest friends was Dr. Wolf Smoothness, the mastermind behind the November 78th, October 79, and March 80 to October 81 experimental hepatitis B vaccine trials conducted by the Center for Disease, the CDC, in New York, San Francisco, and 4 other American cities that loosed the plague of AIDS upon the American people. The salesman was ordained Poland's youngest bishop in 1958. After a 30-day reign, his predecessor was 33-day reign. And Jesus Christ was 33 years old. The Pope is the Antichrist. Just mocking, and he's the cross man. After a 30-day reign, his predecessor was assassinated, and our ex-cyanide gas salesman assumed the papacy as Pope John Paul Schlegelmilch, Pope John Paul II. God, dude, that guy is very dangerously sarcastic. The honor, he comes off very stern at 3rd District Court. 1990 is the right time with the right leaders, ex-chief of the Soviet secret police, Mikhail Gorbachev, ex-chief of the CIA, George Bush, ex-Nazi cyanide gas salesman, Pope John Paul II, all bound by an unholy alliance to ring in the New World Order. Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper. On 9/11, Trump bragged he now had the tallest building in Manhattan, 40 Wall Street, 40 years. 2029, it's 40 years from 1989. Inauguration Day, Warnock, Kamala Harris. They might get assassinated, and Tulsi Gabbard will be the 50th president from Hawaii. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, Mr. Trump said erroneously on 9/11. Now it's the tallest. Nathan Place, New York, Saturday, September 10th, 2020. 21 years after 9/11, we can still hear Donald Trump's reaction to the terrorist attacks, and it was a strange one. That's because on 11 September 2001, the future U.S. president called into the TV station WWOR to talk about the day's tragic events. Then, oddly, he turned his attention to the height of one of his properties, which he falsely claimed was now the tallest building in Lower Manhattan. Well, it was an amazing phone call, Mr. Trump told WWOR. 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan, and it was actually before the World Trade Center was the tallest. And then they built the World Trade Center. It became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest. Trump Vance meet with Pope Leo's Florida brother, a major MAGA fan at White House, Kim Luciani. The Pope, John Paul I, was Albino Luciani. Key points, AI-assisted summary. President Donald Trump met with Pope Leo's 14th brother, 14th spiritual exercise of Loyola. Louis Prevost at the White House. Louis. Pope John Paul I, Luciani, Albino Luciani, was the head of the Catholic Church. This is what I'm doing here is I'm posting the assassination attempts on John Paul II, Louis, and Sacco. The name of a rifle, finished firearm, sniper rifle, is Sacco. Louis Raphael Sacco Louis. Louis Prevost is the brother. And here, look at this. Here's a picture. Here's a picture of Cardinal Louis Sacco from Baghdad, Iraq, shaking hands with Pope Leo XIV from Chicago, Illinois, Robert Francis Prevost. And I have the same middle name. It's Pope Leo XIV. Same legal middle, and I'm the fourth. I'm not a fourth vow Jesuit, superior, whatever. With Robert Francis Prevost, Pope Leo XIV, Cardinal Louis Sacco, future Pope. By the year 2028, who knows what's going to... This guy wants a bunch of people dead in America, in jail, prison, you name it. He's going to be handing off... He's not... He was just elected. He's going to be told to retire, or he wants me assassinated. I don't know what's going to happen. Dude, I don't want that shit to happen to anybody. This guy might just sit next to Cardinal Louis Sacco. Nothing happens to him like John Paul II's assassination attempt. Ratzinger died. Cardinal, Pope Benedict XVI, Emeritus. What was it, December 30th, 2022? So this guy's going to be sitting next to Cardinal Louis Sacco. He's going to drag America into war. War with China. Mecca might get hit first. Then the Wailing Wall, and then Temple Mount, and then the Church of Holy Sepulchres, the order by the looks of it, between 2030 and 2031. America's going to be at war with China. Kim Jong-un is in talks with Sarah Mullally and Cardinal Louis Sacco. He's more of a papist than Xi Jinping is, the president of China. Sarah from Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship song, is allied with Jeffrey Burwell. Arturo Sosa is going to be the beast. He was born on the same day, November 12th. I was born November 12th, 1980. Arturo Abascal Sosa, the current Superior General of the Society of Jesus, November 12th, 1948. Pope John Paul was head of the Catholic Church, Sovereign Vatican City, August 26, 1978, till September sometime. Death 33 days later. On 13th May 1981, St. Peter's Square, Vatican City, Pope John Paul II was shot and wounded by Mehmet Ali Aga. While he was entering the square, the Pope was struck twice, been arrested twice, and suffered severe blood loss, been to county jail twice. Severe blood loss. Aga was apprehended immediately and later sentenced to life in prison by an Italian court. John Paul Schleg, I don't know how. Is he just tired of being called Your Honor? Judge's more intimidating title is almost just backhanded, scary. Like he just, he doesn't believe anybody that calls him Your Honor. Judge John Schlegelmilch, he was an attorney, and a bunch of attorneys are not answering my calls. He might have, Cale Brock and Samuel Figueroa, and the district attorney that is working with Stephen B. Rye is Samantha. They're both pretty much the same names, just a female version name for Samuel Figueroa. Gave me my money back because I was sending him text messages about the son of Sam. I was receiving a text message from Samuel Figueroa in Lyon County after I no longer have on this Google 10 Pixel. Sent me a scam message at the same time, a notification about a scam going on in the area. And so oh my God. Pope John Paul II, Schlegelmilch. God, please repent for being this guy. Dude, he looks relatively healthy. And God, oh my God, he looks, please judge me truthfully. Just do this case truthfully, please. Oh my God. Dude, I've been wanting to be around at one. Looks like they just want me in jail the rest of my life. And read Revelation 13, 16 to 18. They get a mark on their right hand, which this is a birthmark on my right hand. And 666 is added to 18 and 9. 9-digit social security number. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. And in numerology, you take the 1 plus 8, you add it to 9. 9-digit social security number. And the social security page is labeled Rome in the URL. ROME. Aga was apprehended immediately and later sentenced to life in prison by an Italian court. Judge John Schlegelmilch. 3rd District, Vatican Assassins, 3rd edition. Wounded in the House of My Friends by Eric John Phelps, John Schlegelmilch. 3rd District Court, 9/11, Harvey. Sacco Limited, Sacco Oy, is a Finnish firearm and ammunition manufacturer located in Rimaki, Kanta-Häme. In southern Finland, it has also owned the Tikka brand of bolt-action rifles since 1983 and is now owned by the Italian Firearm Holding Company. Dude, none of that stuff, that is all my father's. That is not mine. None of it. None of those handguns fire. I don't want anything fucking to do with them. Dude, the NRA is evil. Brady campaign's evil. Dude, Gabby Giffords might be the only one that's all right in that. I don't know about JPFO. I think they're evil too. I think they're betraying Jews. Dude, the Jews were not rioting at Auschwitz. Well, it makes you think if a gun would have gotten them out of that situation. Look at the gun owners just dropped dead from heart attacks. There's a sheriff deputy in Lyon County that just dropped dead on his job in 2004. Mickey was his name. Lyon County, Nevada, deputy sheriff. And is now owned by the Italian firearm holding company Beretta Holding. And directed energy weaponry from satellites, causing heart attacks and lung damage across the street there, Gene. Gene Hackman. What happened to Gene Hackman there, Gene Malone? And Susan Jean Laurie done. The name Sacco comes from the company's former name, Swatulus Contime, ASE. I cannot pronounce all that. Good God. Civil Guard Gun and Machining Works Ltd. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Revelation 13:3. Louis Raphael Sacco was born July 4th, born on the 4th of July, Independence Day. This is the Pope. This is the Pope. He, after Robert Prevost retires, Pope Leo XIV from Chicago, Illinois, is a Chaldean Kale Brock, Kale and Cal. Dude, they're related etymologically there. Cal Brock, Brookings Institute, Brook and Brock, and Brookings have the same etymological root. Louis Raphael Sacco, born July 4th, 1948. Dude, happy 4th of July, America. Dude, happy birthday. Is a Chaldean Catholic prelate who has served as... This is... Dude, I wish I did not... Dude, I can never prepare if you're going to throw me in prison, jail, I'll never be... Dude, I've just been wanting to be around a woman. I've been lusting after Juliet Rose Landau. I'm not even sure if they're a woman. It looks like they're with a man. God, make me forget about him. Oh my God. Might be homosexual lust. I'm not sure because they might be a transgender. Louis Raphael Sacco is a Chaldean Catholic prelate who has served as patriarch of Baghdad. He was around when Saddam Hussein was... Since February 1st, 2013, Pope Francis made him a cardinal. My middle name is Francis, William Francis Dunn IV, and Robert Francis Prevost is the current pope after Pope Francis, and he's going by Pope Leo XIV. This Pope Francis made him cardinal on June 28th, 2018. This is the future pope after Robert Francis Prevost retires. Do not ask God for forgiveness if you're going to take this to a casino in Vegas. I'd say this is they want me locked in. And the thing is, dude, you don't have to arrest and throw people in jail, and this guy's going to retire anyways. Pope Leo XIV. Or you're just throwing me into jail and prison out of spite. Here's the computer core. This is where I started from 28 minutes ago. For like maybe a 8-10 minute reading. The 5 eyes. The 5 stars. Union of the what? In the constitutions of the Society of Jesus and the complementary norms. Union of the hearts and minds. 666. The Nephilim, Hebrew Romanized Nephilim, are mysterious beings or humans mentioned in the Bible, traditionally understood as beings of great size and strength, or alternatively of great power and authority. The origins of Nephilim are unclear. God, that is a very beautiful woman there. You look at them, 60 years old. They're very beautiful. Juliet Rose Landau. God, dude, they've been self-poisoning. Stop doing that. Tell your spouse for life to not poison you, do anything stupid to you. God, that's terrible. Traditionally understood as being great size and strength, or alternatively beings of great power and authority. The origins of the Nephilim are unclear. Some writers, including the author of the Book of Enoch, view them as the offspring of rebellious angels and humans. Others view them as descendants of Seth and Cain. How I Came to Grips with Demons, a portrait of Derek Prince in black and white. Deliverance and Demonology. This will be the first in a series of messages on demonology. By the way, introduction to my message, I would like to read to you a verse from the prophet Jeremiah. Jeremy Silva, 2027. Jeremiah Woolman. Susan, my mother, knows Andra Woolman at the Dayton Misfits, and supposedly their son, Jeremy, died on the couch of a pill overdose while mom was on the way to work. Blamed the neighbors up the street, Andra Woolman. It is possible that when I first read this verse, you will... Yeah, Susan Dunn acted at the Misfits in Dayton, Nevada, my mother, wearing the Crossman C shirt. It is possible that when I first read this verse, you will not exactly understand how it applies to the topic demonology, but I'll read the verse and then I'll seek to explain how I relate it to demonology. This verse reads as follows: They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, Peace, peace, where there is no peace. This is God's charge against the religious leaders and the priests of his day, that they claim to offer healing to his people, but it was not a genuine healing. The King James Version says they healed the hurts of the daughter of my people slightly. This is explained by saying they say, peace, peace, but there is no peace. In other words, they had a religious front, Crossman shirt with a Jesus. Oh my God, they had a religious front. They had the religious language. They had the services at the temple, the Mormon church, in the name of Christ. The Church of Perpetual Help. Cardinal Louis Sacco, while the Mormons are running around claiming to help people, like the psychologists snidely mock that they're going to help people. Roman at the most team, Roman Polak, Lyon County, Nevada. Roman, the Society of Jesus is a Roman work of the entire society there, Roman Polak. I know Roman's a common name. Crystal. They had the services at the temple, but they didn't have the inner real experience which God desired them to have. Kel Brock has something personal against me. And Crystal told me on the phone today that they don't when they do. They didn't have that deep, settled peace which comes from true faith in God and obedience to his word. God, just pray that these district attorneys, public defenders, and judge starts doing their jobs truthfully. You know, exercise surveillance on people, do it truthfully. For the love of God, please. And over the years, it has been borne in upon me that this is true of multitudes of professing Christians. They don't have what they profess to have. They're not specifically insincere, but they have been brought up to sing hymns about peace and joy. Their church or their denomination teaches them that Christians have peace and joy. Some of them are even trained to go out to others and witness that they have peace and joy. But really, their hurts have only been healed slightly. There's a cover-up, something that's never been dealt with deep inside. This is Derek Prince in Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte is going to be the Queen of England. I don't know. By 2029, maybe something they have for Charles and William to be assassinated, and Charlotte's going to be the Queen of England. Sarah Mullally is going to be at fault in this, and they're just falsely imprisoning Americans. Any American that notices this and says something. Prince Andrew, Drusilla, Juliet Rose Landale's character in Buffy the Vampire Slayer will be coming up on this information relatively quick here in this post. Sarah Michelle Gellar's character Buffy is Sarah Mullally, the Archbishop of the Church of England, and is allied with Prince Andrew. And the Drusilla character, this is why God, Juliet Rose Landale is very beautiful. I think they are a woman. They're just practicing double mind. They're fooling people. They're not a transgender. But the Drusilla character name is the same meaning as Andrew. So they're allied with Prince Andrew. Hopefully they stop. They get away. Andrew, whoever repents, Julia Rose Landale. Dude, no way. That's beautiful woman. I want them to live forever. And they're a Jew. Martin Landau might have been a Jew, a closet Jew. I'm not sure. Barbara Baines, American, I think. I found out all this information very recently. The next hypothesis we must investigate is the question of whether demons or fallen angels can procreate with women. What does the Bible say? In the beginning of Genesis, we find this phrase repeated throughout the creation account after his kind regarding the self-replicating plants and all the living creatures which procreate. So here we have a witness that God established some reproductive rules or natural law for his creation. Does the witness of creation itself verify this? While there seems to be few exceptions, such as the jackass, Kamala Harris and Warnock, Democrat Party is represented by a mule or jackass donkey, Donald Trump, Agent Orange, Donald Trump. Even they would be consistent through to be regarded as within his law established by our Creator. Donald Trump, 1745 Revolution, Bonnie Prince Charles Stewart, born in Rome. Donald Trump's golf course in Scotland, Bonnie Prince Stewart trying to reclaim England and Scotland from Rome. If this established law were not in place, we could reasonably expect the earth to be literally swimming in genetic soup at this point in history, but we are not. Are there any instances that we can examine today where women have procreated with other animals? No. If it were true, it would absolutely be a commonplace occurrence by now. It would be in your local news, perhaps so prevalent as to not even be newsworthy, but this is not the reality. If women cannot procreate with other living creatures of the earth, is it any more responsible to believe that women can procreate with beings in the spiritual plane of angels and demons? And Juliet Rose Landau was on Angel. An angel would get evil. Got around Sarah Mullally. Any relationship, oh my God. Yes, Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar is alludes to Sarah Mullally being Archbishop in the future of the Church of England. What does the word have to say about that? The Bible indicates that this is not tangential, that all angels, demons, and other created beings on the spiritual plane was individually created by God and do not procreate. Jesus himself verifies this explicitly at Matthew's 22, 29, 30. Jesus answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage. Well, wait, what if they're already married? In this life, you're going to just annul the marriage? Jesus, beware. Dude, oh my God, these Bibles all agree on something somewhere. While the Jesuit Dewey Rames Bible says, her heel. Here comes the transgenderism. And the Protestant Bibles, the Geneva Bible, the King James says it's his heel that defeats the serpent. Then the transgenderism, as you combine them, the Reformation, the Counter-Reformation, the rapture will be canceled by Nicholas Arthur. Sarah Michelle Prince Gellar is an American actress. She is known for portraying strong female characters in film and television and is regarded as a screen queen for her work in the horror genre, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel. Mullally, duct development, fertility problems, ectopic pregnancies, Sarah Michelle Mullally. Mole, mouths the same, Mullally, Mullally, duct development, fertility problems, ectopic pregnancies, miscarriages, premature births, and cancers, especially clear cell adenocarcinoma, the vagina, cervix, and girls and young women, and DES sends epididymal cyst hypospadias. God, it cannot. Wow. Cryptokidism, hypoplastic testes, and micropenises have been observed. In addition, although less studied in utero, exposure to synthetic sex hormones, particularly DES, can cause psychological disorders such as schizophrenia, bipolar, eating disorders, suicidal behavior. Interestingly, some studies in patients exposed in utero to DES with psychotic disorders identified methylome changes that affect the expression of ZFP57 and ADAMTS2 genes implicated in neurodevelopment regulation with potential multi-generational, transgenerational effects. In this work, we first described 4 transgender women identified among 253 songs exposed in utero to DES, included France Cohort, a French National Patient Association. This high prevalence of male to female transgender individuals among DESNs, 1.58%, strongly suggests that exposure of male fetuses to this xenoestrogen during fetal life may affect future male sex identity behavior. All DES sons who identified as transgender women underwent karyotyping at their local hospital at the moment of transition. Dame Sarah Mullally, transgender, saying they're a woman. The Antichrist is a he, but the church is a she, a woman. The Antichrist is a man. The church is a woman. Nicholas Arthur is very dishonest. Catherine von Bora was poisoned by Martin Luther. Nobody's saying this. I don't know how genuine Martin Luther was. He was Illuminati. He was an Augustinian monk like Pope Leo XIV. And he had correspondences with the Teutonic Templars. Catherine von Bora might have been a Jesuit. Dame Sarah Elizabeth Mullally, Queen Elizabeth could have lived longer, is an English Anglican prelate and former nurse. She has been the Bishop of London since 2018. Cardinal Louis Sacco, elected by Pope Francis to be the Archbishop of Baghdad in 2018, and is the first woman to hold this office by virtue of her office. She is also Lord Spiritual, one of the 26 Church of England bishops who sit in the House of Lords of the Parliament of the United Kingdom on October 3. Third arrest. It was announced that Mullally would become the 106th Archbishop. This is what controls the Mormon Church and the SDA Church in America. And they're allied with Jeffrey Burwell of the Society of Jesus, in talks with Kim Jong-un. It was announced that Mullally would become the 106th Archbishop of Canterbury in January 2026. She will be the first woman to hold the office. Thomas Trace Beatty, the Beatitudes of the Catholic Church. Thomas Trace Beatty is an American public speaker, author, and advocate of transgender rights and sexuality issues with a focus on transgender fertility, reproductive rights. Beatty came out as a trans man early 1997. Buffy the Vampire Slayer debuted 1997. Beatty had gender-affirming surgery in March 2022. Became known as a pregnant man after he became pregnant through artificial insemination in 2007. Beatitudes chose to be pregnant and donated sperm because his wife Nancy was sterile. The couple filed for divorce in 2012. The Beatty case is the first of its kind on record where a documented legal male gave birth within a marriage, a male had a baby, and for the birth certificate, Josh. God save that man. Truthfully, Judge, please. You're to Nevada. God, why did you let everybody, Black Lives Matter, just constantly chanting, no justice, no peace. And the justice system has a statue, is represented by a statue that has a blindfold. I would love to be judged by a judge that has eyes to see and ears to hear, that doesn't reject the truth. That is it, God, man. Tracing boards, hold on. Gave birth within a marriage to a woman for the first time in court. Challenged a marriage. It's John Schlegelmilch. Have you ever had one of these cases there? Lori Ann Matthews, Judge Camille Beccarelli. Anyway, tracing boards. Thomas Trace, okay? Tracing boards are painted or printed illustrations depicting the various emblems and symbols of Freemasonry. Thomas Trace and tracing, Trace and Tracy, Dick Tracy, the detective, just getting gaslighted and falsely embellished charges. It's going, God. Please, telling jokes is going to get me. If I do not want to tell jokes anymore the rest of my life, does that require to go to jail? Tracing boards are painted or printed illustrations depicting the various emblems and symbols of Freemasonry. They can be used as teaching aids during the lectures that follow each of the Masonic degrees. With most can I be an assistant to a teacher or a detective, instead of being in jail and prison. When an experienced member explains the various concepts of Freemasonry to new members, they can also be used by experienced members as reminders of the concepts they learned as they went through ceremonies of different Masonic degrees. In Hebrew, seraph means burning and is used 7 times throughout the text of the Hebrew Bible as a noun, usually to denote serpent. Sarah Mullally, seraphim, Mullally, Elizabeth of Mullally is a serpent. Is burning Americans, controlling the Mormon Church, controlling the SDA Church. Press the control button at the county jail, please, no more. Twice in the book of Numbers, once in the book of Deuteronomy, 4 times in the book of Isaiah. Fourth vow of the Jesuits. Go cross-reference book of Isaiah in your fourth vow. Andrew Albert Christian Edward Mountbatten, Windsor. Born February 1960, Formerly Prince Andrew, Duke of York, is the third arrested child. John Schlegelmilch, Lorianne Mathias, Judge Camille Vecchiarelli recused now the district attorney's wanting to sign me. He's trying. God, please, because of what I'm really reading here. Is the third child and second son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, and a younger brother of King Charles III. Third child and younger brother of King Charles III. Andrew was born second in the line of succession to the British throne and is eighth as of 2026. Drusilla was a vampire who possessed psychic powers as a human. She was found tortured to insanity, sired by Angelus, who had murdered her entire family before her eyes in order to turn her into his masterpiece. God, she's beautiful. Dude, that's a woman. Drusilla, God forgive me for lusting. Please forgive me. Please unattract me. Make me forget about Juliet Rose Landau. It's not true. It's not to make me forget. God, stop persecuting people, framing, embellishing false charges. God, everyone move on with their lives around here. Do you know mind? Do both sides in America calling for arrest? Donald Trump's calling for arrest. 34 felonies for Donald Trump. He gets to be president. I get one. Dude, they want me in. I will never vote again. How lopsided. Drusilla later sired the young London poet William Francis Dunn, fourth, no, Pratt, Marsters, Marduk, James Marsters, James Stewart, Marduk, Jesuit, from James V, Elizabeth I, they're all fourth vow Jesuits, how dishonest, black closet, black robe Jesuits. Drusilla later sired, can you tell I'm just trying to be funny? Please, I don't want to be funny ever again if it's too much trouble. Who took the name Spike and became her longtime paramour. The names Drew and Drew are often Andrew, Prince Andrew and Drusilla, Julia and Rose Landau from London, Barbara Bain from Batman, repent, God. What an interesting person, gave birth to a very beautiful woman, excuse me. Repent. The names True and True. God, what are you drawing? Are often associated with each other, with Drew being a diminutive of Andrew, Drusilla. What a mindfuck. Drew is primarily considered by a boy's name, often used as a nickname for Andrew. Drew can also be a nickname for Drusilla, which is derived from Andrew. Drusilla from Buffy, Juliet Rose Landau. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Sarah Mullally, and Juliet Rose Landau, both from London, England. The name Drew has roots in Welsh and is associated with meanings like manly or brave. What a mindfuck. Dude, oh my God, how can I be just... What a... God forgive me if that's homosexual lust or painful jokers. A real woman. True cross. King Charles getting the true cross from Pope Francis. Is now dead. Can be used affectionately as a nickname for someone named Andrew. In summary, Drew is typically a boy's name, while Drew can be a nickname for Andrew, derived from Drusilla. This is a 48-minute video. It's January 29th, 2026, 6:59 p.m.